He's literally like neck and neck with Ian Gary right now in terms of the PR team needs to be fired, sacked, and never seen again, and just do a hard reset and see what happens. After Merab Dvalishvili beat Sugar Sean O'Malley last week at the Noche event, I was one of the guys that was 100% convinced that it was either 5-0 in terms of rounds or 4-1. I'd probably give that 5th round to Sean O'Malley, but I was adamant and I was fully convinced that it was an absolute demolishing of Sugar Sean O'Malley and an expose. And since then, we have Sugar Sean O'Malley, Chael Sonnen, MMA Guru, all coming out saying that he won that fight. We also have Michael Bisping, The Weasel, all these other big YouTubers saying that it was completely delusional of Sugar Sean O'Malley to say that he won the fight. He did a reversal halfway through the week. In terms of being gracious, he was for about 24 hours. Then he seems to have lost the plot and become extremely delusional, aided by his team and his coach, who again took a lot of criticism on the run up to this fight, during this fight, and after this fight. So running into this weekend, my train of thought was that this is seriously delusional and the community are going to call this guy out, and this is just going to add to the fact that he's not really a big seller, a big attraction, unless you're like a 12-year-old kid who smokes weed or something like that. But in the interest of fairness, after watching a bunch of people talking about possibly he did win that fight, I went back and I watched the full 5 rounds this morning, and I'm going to break down what I thought happened. I'm going to break down where does he go from here in terms of maybe a rematch. I don't know. So we'll have a little look at this whole Sean O'Malley being delusional or possibly winning the fight debacle. Sean O'Malley isn't handling his loss to Merab Dvalishvili well. This is an article that I came across and I thought I'd read a little excerpt out of it because I think it's important in terms of the context of what we're actually talking about. So Sean O'Malley lost his UFC men's bantamweight championship to Merab Dvalishvili at the main event at Noche blah 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 blah. Absolutely garbage card, no one really interested in it. Let's move on from that. It was a shit show. Since losing, O'Malley has gone from gracious to graceless. Hey, brilliant journalism right there. Before we delve into the specifics of O'Malley's post-loss behaviour, it's essential to look at the definition of terms I use to describe O'Malley's behaviour since the Noche UFC. A gracious loser, which O'Malley was for the first 24 hours after losing to Dvalishvili, is defined this way by the Collins Dictionary. I like that. Someone who accepts defeat with dignity and shows humility and respect for his opponent, who acknowledges the effort and skill of the winner without bitterness and resentment. A gracious loser maintains composure, congratulates the winner, looks back in the competition with an opportunity to growth and learning. And as we see here, one of the first posts that Sean O'Malley put out is that I overpromised and under-delivered. Sorry guys, love you guys. The Collins definition of gracious was actually quite funny, but I think that Sean O'Malley did very well in the aftermath of that fight, coming out and doing it like that, just like Sean Strickland did after the Dricus Duplessis debacle. So that was fine. You come out, you're gracious, you do what you say, and we could see all the kind of the cringy garbage videos that he was putting out where he was putting away his belt and all that sort of stuff. Whatever, I'm sure there was 12-year-olds beating off to that sort of content. Not for me. Thank you very much. But with a real quick turnaround, it went from him being gracious, putting away his belt, talking about maybe going wrestling, maybe doing a bit more work in the gym because of the domination in terms of the wrestling side of that fight. He just flipped the whole thing on a dime and came out and said that I won the fight.
I won round 1, 3, and 5. You, Merab, you're still a bitch. I'm the champ and still undefeated, defending my belt in June or July against Umar Nurmagomedov in Las Vegas. I'm the champ. And
at first, I was like everybody else. It was like, okay, he's trying to play a game. It's kind of cringe. You're not Chael Sonnen. You're not like the I've never been beaten type of thing. That's cringe because what happens when you come out and you speak vocally the way he did about never been beaten, people put up clips like this. Oh! Huge elbow from Chael! So you did have the fans coming out posting this stuff. You did have them going after him for his delusional takes. And some of the stuff that he was saying and the way that he presented it was just obnoxious. And I'm going to try to be as objective as I can in this video. And I will get to the point where I talk about how I actually saw the fight from different eyes after watching it again this morning. But the stuff that preceded that, the social media delusion, PR, I mean, Tim Welch really needs to get control of his fighter here if he's going to have any chance going forward of having some sort of credibility. Because even the media are kind of going in on not only Sean O'Malley's behavior, but his coach's inability to get him going during that fight, putting his hand on his shoulders, telling him, we're almost there, buddy, we're almost out of here. Just take one big more deep breath and we can go home and make some podcasty stuff. And the shenanigans running up to the fight where Tim Welch, who is Sean O'Malley's coach / BBF, was doing the PR for his fighter, where he was out there having verbal altercations with Merab. It was crazy. It was mad. And he didn't help himself during that fight with the way he coached and getting excessive coaching warnings from Herb Dean. That was a bit mad anyway. But you're coming out of that fight after the build-up, and you're like, that was crazy. What was going on there? His coach was doing most of the work for him. And then we got to the aftermath of the fight, and we saw videos like this.
Look at, I'm pressuring him, and he calls a timeout mid-fight. I about knocked him out, or hurt him, got out of the way. Oh, no, I could beat this one, bro. I won this shit. I literally won that round. That could have been the end, bro. Bro, what is this? I mean, the narrative is crazy. I want to know if... I won the first, third, and fifth round. Rewatch that fight, turn the commentary off, and tell me I did not win that fight.
So Sean O'Malley, accompanied by a lot of yes men that are just whatever, Andy's coach, are sitting there, they're watching, and it's all very fruity and everything like that. They're convinced that Sugar Sean O'Malley won the first, third, and fifth round. And as I said, we have the biggest YouTube content creators on the platform roll in behind and actually agree after rewatching it. And I found that interesting, and it actually spurred me on to go and rewatch the fight this morning. After seeing Sean O'Malley put out these social media posts, and then he's like talking to these streamers like Aiden Ross, and he's doubling and tripling down on the fact that he won first, third, and fifth. We have some really respectable guys within the community saying that that's the truth as well. You have to go back and rewatch it. You can't just hold on to the fact that you don't like the pink hair, you don't like the fact that he cheats on his bird, and you don't like the fact that, you know, he's allowing her to go and be with his buddies and everything like that. That's fine. I mean, put that aside. Let's be objective. Look at the fight. I rewatched the fight this morning. First round was extremely close, in my opinion. I'm not an expert. It was extremely close. I'd say 3 minutes into that first round, Sugar Sean O'Malley was landing the better shots. There were jabs. There weren't like necessarily crazy power or anything like that, but he was doing damage, and there was a little bit of blood coming from the nose. Right around the 3 minute mark of that round, it kind of turned. There was 2 significant takedowns. There was a right hook from Merab. I think that he did bloody up the nose of Sugar Sean O'Malley, and in terms of damage and control, in my opinion, it was a tight round, but that round went to Merab 100% in my opinion. It was razor tight, so that went there. Second round was Merab. So I went into the third round, which is a contentious one that everybody's talking about, saying that Sugar Sean O'Malley won. In my mind, as I said at the beginning of the video, I thought that he lost 4 rounds, if not 5. So I'm watching the first round, it's razor thin. Second round, he lost. Third round, here we go. Does he win it? Does he lose it? Is it razor thin? I think he wins it. I think he wins it. I watched it. I think he wins it. He landed way more significant strikes, body kicks, landing that right hand to the body over and over again, catching Merab with 1-2s. 100% won that round. And it's interesting to go back and watch these fights, because as I was watching it, because I don't like Sugar Sean O'Malley, I was just calling it for Merab. So it's a good exercise in terms of being a little bit more conscientious and objective about what you feel. Sugar Sean O'Malley won that third round. Goes into the fourth round, lost it, it was close. And the fifth round, extremely close again, but I'm giving it to Sugar Sean O'Malley. So there you have it. That's an objective rewatching of it in the aftermath of all the craziness and the delusion from Sean O'Malley and the biggest content creators on the planet saying that he won that fight. I'm watching it and I'm putting all the dislike for the guy and the outside of the octagon stuff aside. At the end of this fight, I believe that it was 3 rounds to 2, Merab Dvalishvili getting the win, razor thin. But then we get into the conversation, and this is something that I wasn't willing to do last Sunday because I was just happy that Sean O'Malley lost. So in the interest of being consistent, and if we're talking about the likes of Sean Strickland losing the title to Dricus du Plessis in a very contentious, tight-fought game plan there between the two of them, you have to look at that. So what happened in the aftermath of that? Dana White, Joe Rogan, some of the best judges in the world said that Sean Strickland won that fight. I think the majority of the community were left in the same place where it was, if Dricus is going to be the new champion, come and take it. Don't have it be a razor thin decision. Come and take it. Now, I like Dricus du Plessis. I'm happy that he got it, and I'm happy that he defended it. And just to be consistent, I was upset that Sean Strickland not only lost the title on a very contentious fight, but wasn't even offered a rematch. Not even a chance of a rematch. And we know who got the rematch, and we know who got choked out, and it was absolutely beautiful. So that brings us to Sean O'Malley, Merab Dvalishvili. We have the Figueiredo Nurmagomedov debacle is kind of floating around the air. Who's he going to fight next? Chael Sonnen's calling for an immediate rematch. He believes that Sugar Sean O'Malley, like Israel Adesanya and Conor McGregor, he did put all them 3 guys into the same sentence, which I don't agree with. Like, seriously don't agree with. In terms of like what they do outside of the octagon. I don't know anyone that knows Israel Adesanya. Unless it's the LGBTQ community in New Zealand, his homeland or something like that. I don't know. As for Sugar Sean O'Malley, he does have a big following. 12-year-olds that are interested in Discord and all that weird freaky stuff. So I don't know if that's a fair judgment to say that these 2 lads are huge stars, so they deserve an immediate rematch. But if I'm being consistent, then I'm saying that Dricus has to go there and actually take the title away from Sean Strickland. Then I have to say the same thing here with Merab Dvalishvili and Sugar Sean O'Malley. If Merab is going to be the champion, and if there's no rematch for Sean O'Malley, then surely we should have seen Merab go in there and dominate. Just rewatched the fight 15 minutes ago. That's not what we saw. That's not what we saw. So I do get where Guru, Chael, even Sean O'Malley is coming from in terms of I won this and I won that and there should be a rematch and I still should be champion. I do get where they're coming from. I think that he lost the fight 3 rounds to 2. So then it gets down to the question of, okay, so you lost the fight, right? So fair enough. I'm saying he lost the fight. No matter what way you look at it, he lost that fight. And then it's about how convincing it was to be a new champion. But with all the new rules circulating around damage and control, then we have seen the introduction and the dominance of Dagestani type wrestlers. I don't know how the likes of Merab can actually do a better job in terms of winning 3 to 2 rounds and getting a title. So I think that he deserves his title. I'm very happy that he won it. I think that Sean O'Malley is just a PR disaster. He's literally like neck and neck with Ian Gary right now in terms of the PR team needs to be fired, sacked, and never seen again. And just do a hard reset and see what happens. I'm sure that the UFC are interested in a rematch with you. I'm sure that they would move mountains to get you back up there. They want them 12-year-old kids. They want that little kind of Discord group, fans that don't buy pay-per-views or even don't go to events. They want them for some reason. That's why O'Malley and Adesanya are stars. As for Sean making comparisons about himself and Conor McGregor, if you stop that stuff, that's probably like number 1 to take off the list. After that, sack the manager, Red Welch. He's got to go. And then jump on from there and see what you do. Maybe go wrestling with Khabib or someone like that for like 9 to 10 months or something. And then build back from there. And as a side note, the Conor McGregor stuff on the weekend was quite funny. He was front and center of the Anthony Joshua beatdown, which was delicious to watch as well. But Conor seemed to dominate the headlines in the middle of Usyk and Joshua and Tyson Fury. Conor's face was plastered all over the internet. And I saw the best comment ever. It was like, why are you walking around with a cigar in your mouth all night that you never lit? I thought that was great. It was very funny. So listen, if any of this made sense, let me know down below. Maybe hit like, subscribe and share if it did. Cheers.